This is Sanjay Kuvar. Welcome back for learning English subject. Today we are going to study lesson number 2.7 Yoruman and Bushi. Dear students, Yoruman and Bushi, it's a very beautiful story about a wonderful girl named Yoruman Chiru. Yoruman Chiru was the most admired girl in Okinawa. Okinawa is the Japanese island in the East China Sea. Yoruman was intelligent, tall, strong and beautiful girl. She was so well trained in karate that no one could beat her. Her father was a rich merchant. When it was the time to get her married, he became very worried. But Yoruman had her own ideas about her marriage. She said firmly that she would marry only a man who would beat her in a fair fight. Surprisingly, many men accepted the challenge. They came forward to fight her. Kozo was the first man who came forward to marry her. Actually, he was bigger, stronger than Yoruman. His hands were like shovels. Do you know shovels? It's a tool with long handle and broad blade. So his hands were like shovels and his legs were like tree trunk. But Kozo was unsportive and played foul in the match. He threw a punch at Yoruman while she was bending to him in the beginning of the match. So she became very angry and she held his arm and twisted so powerfully that Kozo fell down on the ground and lastly he was defeated. Many young wrestlers tried their hand, but Yoruman defeated them all. Her father was once again in despair. He was very sad. Just then, Bushikyo came forward. He also wanted to marry a tall, strong girl like Yoruman. He was fearless and straightforward. He was also such an expert in karate that he was recruited by the king to be his personal guard. The wrestling match began. They started to attack each other. They punched, kicked and twisted using their best techniques. It looked as if the match was going to be a tie. Nobody's winning, nobody's losing. But at a crucial moment in their match, Yoruman paused briefly. So Bushi took an advantage of it and brought her down with a swift punch. Then they married in a splendid ceremony. It was their happy marriage. She was very kind and loving. She kept the house spick and span. Spick and span means clean, fresh or new. One day, Yoruman said that she would like to visit her parents' house. She would go in the evening and return next day in the afternoon. Bushi didn't like it. He told her not to travel at night as it was not safe for a woman to go out of the house in such a darkness. And there would be also some bandits waiting to attack. Bandits means thieves who attack travelers. Yoruman didn't listen to her husband and that evening she left to walk to her father's home. Bushi was not pleased with her decision. He decided to teach her a good lesson for her own safety. As soon as Yoruman departed, he disguised himself to be a bandit. He ran as fast as he could to hide himself in a clump of the trees. The clump of the trees means the group of the trees or a bush. Darkness fell and he saw Yoruman was approaching towards him. When she crossed a group of trees, Bushi jumped out from behind the trees and tried to attack her. Yonaman was swift and sharp in her reaction to the attack. She held the attacker's hand and kicked him with such a force that the attackers fell down on the ground and he became unconscious. Then she dragged and tied him to a tree with her sash. Sash is a long strip of cloth used to wear around the waist or shoulder. Then she started a journey to reach her father's home. The next day, as she was returning home in the afternoon, she saw her bandit. He was still tied to the tree as she had left him the previous night. He requested her to untie him. As we know that she was very kind-hearted, she freed him swiftly and walked away quickly to reach home in time. That evening, Bushi looked very tired and dull. She helped him in his work and invited to have a hot meal. As they sat together for dinner, Bushi brought out a white sash from her pocket and he gave it to his wife. She was surprised to see it. She understood that the bandit she had beaten and tied to a tree was none other than Bushi. She felt extremely sorry for that. But Bushi told her that he had learned a good lesson from that incident. The lesson was not to underestimate anybody, especially not a woman.